Good morning. It is Tuesday morning and we are back in the garden, and some little updates, not a long video, but just some garden talk, motivation, dogs barking. So let's get to it. So yesterday I brought in 14 cubic feet of organic material. 8 of it was soil and the rest of it was compost. So I was able to fill this bed, which is now, it's going to be ready for the peppers. And I love it because the heat, again, warms that bed. The other thing I did, and I believe, well, it's been like 2 years, so I think I did get this on video when I did this in the older videos, but I had made this planter box, and it was actually seated out in that area of the yard. It looks a little rough. We're still doing cleanup over there, but like where the Winky dog is sitting there in the yard, back behind it, that planter box was there. And we needed to put in a, oh gosh, what are they called? I can't even think of it right now. The fencing. But to create a different fence line, because our neighbors have these dogs. But so I had to go put that fence in and secure it a little better, just in case that dog comes into our yard. And I moved this planter box. So in this planter box were asparagus roots. Now I had planted like 20 some asparagus roots. I'm not even sure. There were only, what do we have now? 5 roots that remained healthy enough to replant, which is a shame, but here they are. There's one here. Hopefully you can see this. I'm in a weird spot with the sun and it's rising up in the background here. So the asparagus here, one tiny little one here, hopefully it'll take, and then here. Now these are in their 3rd year, and they're not producing a whole lot, but the bed was kind of, didn't have enough soil, didn't have enough medium in it, so I went ahead and filled it up more. I did, I think it's called Hugel. It's where you put all the branches at the bottom to help aid in raising the bed up and then filling it in with the soil. So I filled it in with the existing soil that was in the bed, but then I added 2 more sacks of Kellogg's Organics. And then on top of that, I added 3 sacks of compost, of organic compost. So that bed is now ready for what comes. And because these roots are so small, I will probably be putting basil in here and just some companion planting along with the asparagus. So this bed is now ready. Look at how beautiful the raspberry is doing. It looks amazing, and I'm thrilled about that. We do have chocolate mint coming in, which I was worried about, but I actually bought some more. This bench is getting moved. It's not stationary here. Oh, something's getting me in the garden. I'm gonna sneeze. And, excuse me, sorry. Excuse me, sorry. Jeez. So this bench is going to get moved over to this side of the yard, and then I'm still doing a little bit of cleanup back in here, but everything is going really well. We have, the fennel is doing amazing. 2 more echinacea plants popped out, and I'm really excited about that because last year's harvest, I should have stayed on top of it just a little bit more, to be honest. And now that this season's come, and some plants, I wanted to go to seed. I wanted extra echinacea. I really would love to fill this whole area in with echinacea. So I let a lot of it go to seed as well, but I did harvest a good amount of tea. However, I gave a lot of it out too, so my supply is very limited this season. So I now know I need more echinacea tea. It's so good for you. So the other thing that happened, and oh my word, let me tell you. So this peach tree was fully loaded with peaches. And then the winds struck. Like, oh, I don't know. It's been a few days. And the winds came in and took off all the smaller peaches. I'm okay with that because what that means is, survival of the fittest. Look at the peaches that are on the tree. They are massive. These are good, healthy peaches. I think it thinned them out, so this way all the peaches that remain will get nice and big. And it's kind of nature's way of saying, get out of here. Like, there's a couple of small ones like that could go that probably got damaged by the frost. But for the most part, most of the peaches that remained are looking really, really well. So there is that. So, okay, wind. It helped with the peaches. It did not help with the greenhouse situation at all. Because now there's certain plants I'm getting forced to put in the ground a little early. I don't have a backup greenhouse. The wind came in, busted my greenhouse all apart. And so all my plants right now are sitting on my patio, which is a little cluttered. We're moving stuff around back here. So all my plants are now sitting in my patio. And some are actually in my house with not enough light, which drives me crazy as well because that's not a good thing. I need to bring them out during the day so they get some warmth and sunlight. But those are the very not cold hardy plants, which include basil and peppers. Peppers love heat, so the temperature had dipped down, I think, into the 30s the day after the wind that night. And I had accidentally left, and I thought it was going to happen the next day. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I was tired. I was exhausted. And so the peppers I left outside, as well as the basil, and then the next morning, oh my gosh, disaster. So one of the things that you can do if this happens to you, like you have your peppers in a tray, they love the warmth, right? You notice that they're wilting, they're not doing that well. I should probably find that tray. I'm going to pause and pick up in a second. Okay, so this is the tray of peppers that I'm talking about. They were all wilted. They all got damaged by the cold. And what I did was I went and ran my faucet with warm water and I watered them all and basically flushed out the cold in the soil, and they sprang to life. You can tell the basil took damage, but it has also regained its shape. And I have a makeshift, the light's on them, but this is really not enough light. So today I'll be bringing them out, but they are looking good. These peppers I did get from Agra Greenhouse off of Gun Club. So if you're local and you're in the Albuquerque area, amazing greenhouse, love it. Yeah, so these are doing much better. I'm going to pause and shift outside real fast. Okay, so I'm outside. The tomatoes have been faring very well. I do need to get some water to them. This tray is much too small for them at this point, but last season I actually planted this size of tomato into the garden, and it didn't matter. They took off and they loved it. So part of me is I'll just throw some in the garden, but I really want them to do well, so I might uppot them. I'm a little on the fence on that. I need to get the columbine in the ground. The other thing that happened with the wind is these poor peppers got thrown all over the place, and these were my jalapenos. All of these are my jalapenos. I was doing my own starts for jalapenos. They are doing better. They're still growing, but you can see there's no they're not seated in their trays very well because of what happened. So, yeah, the jalapenos, I'm tempted to go buy a few more jalapenos just to have, but I don't know. I would love to just plant my own, and I still can. I have plenty of space for them. But that's where they're at right now because of the wind. The eggplants also took a little bit of damage, but they seem to be doing okay. And the zucchini I'm going to be putting in the ground this afternoon. The strawberries all as well. I have a few things, mint, things like that over there. And loads of flowers here, including a hollyhock. So we have chamomile here. We actually have some good variety mints. So I did get the chocolate mint because I wanted that in the garden. And I bought a strawberry mint. I think I bought 2 of them. And it's amazing that those leaves taste so much like strawberries. You can also take the leaves off strawberry plants, raspberry plants, fig. So raspberry, strawberry, fig leaves. You can take those leaves and add them into tea. So that is a great thing to have on hand as well. And then, of course, the chamomile, which I have 2 of, and hopefully they spread this year. So I also prepared this section, which is over here by the cattle panel, that is the arbor. It runs over. Cattle panels make such great arbors. I prepared this soil for this year. I'm going to do birdhouse gourds. I'm a crafter, and so I'm usually I put these Kajari melons on here. But again, a lot of people didn't eat them last season. We didn't get that many. And I'm thinking I'm just going to do gourds this year. I do have to figure out where I'm going to put the cucumber because, there is space. This bed is more of the winter type space with lettuces, cauliflower, things like that. But it does take time. So I may do like a little makeshift arbor going that way and put the cucumbers that direction. The only thing is they do like sun, so I'm a little on the fence about doing that. I don't have a whole lot of space for cucumbers, in fact. So I shall see what happens there, where I end up putting them. Let's see, there's some other things going on. The hibiscus is coming out of the ground, which is fantastic. And radishes are growing in here. Not as many as I would have hoped. There are some mixed in. Look at this. Yeah. See, there's some down there. In here. And then I also have different flowers. The mullein is growing. And I'm okay with it. If it seeds here and spreads back here, perfect. I don't mind that at all. So, yeah, this whole bed has some variety of flowers, tarragon, things like that going on in here. I think that is it. So I am ready. I'm ready for a little bit more warmth. I think it's still a little cold. There's some things I have put in the ground. The lettuce, it's not looking the greatest. I'm going to water today, and hopefully the warmth will help pick it back up. I think it kind of went in a little bit of shock. But the cool thing about lettuce is you have that main little base part right there, right? That'll root, and then leaves will still spring up from the center. So even if it's not looking its best now, or say a squirrel comes along and eats those leaves, there's more leaves coming through. And a good way to continue getting a great harvest, right, on these leaves is eat the outer leaves. You don't have to wait for it to head up. You can just eat the leaves as you go and have salad until it bolts. So the other thing I did get in the ground is the artichoke. It's looking all right. And I also mounded up compost on the potatoes, and they're already starting to pop through there. And it looks like something was in there eating them. Yeah, it does look like something got in there and started munching, and no doubt it's the squirrel. So I might have to put a little net up over this. But they'll keep going. I have faith in that. So, yeah, if you still don't have your plants, if you don't dare do seedlings, I know some people are like, I can't do seedlings, they won't grow. Please, 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 support your local greenhouses. I mentioned Agra. That's one of my favorites. Box stores, you're going to notice the prices are more expensive this year. The local grown greenhouses, not as much. So, one, it's a good option. Two, the greenhouses that are local, they're going to work hard to get a variety in there that are new to you. Or, this year I think I have what's called Espanola pepper, I believe is what it was. I'll get a refresher when I go to plant them. But it's a hot pepper. I've never planted it before. I found it at the greenhouse. So at Agra's. So, greenhouses, especially when you go to the regular commercial stores, you're going to find a lot of the standards, the I can't even think of the tomatoes that are there. I haven't, Better Boy tomato, the burpees, and not to knock them, because you do what you can and where you can, but there's a wider variety at a greenhouse of heirloom type tomatoes and tomato seeds that have been passed down through generations, things like that, surprises, and you never know what you're going to find. So supporting a local greenhouse is always a great thing, and helps keep them in business. So yeah, here we go. Off to a wonderful start. I'm glad I got the soil in. I'm waiting a few more days before I start planting. It's very cold this morning, which is why I'm waiting. Every morning I'm trying to walk out, gauge what the temperature is through how the night went. And then I just don't want it to dip too below. And I took basil damage, I took pepper damage. I don't want that to happen again. But I'm ready to plant. Most people, after April 15th, and then they bring out the cold hardy fabrics that they can drape over their plants. Some people wait till after Mother's Day. I'm a little bit in between. I'll start popping things in that I know can withstand certain temperatures and go from there. So I haven't even seeded okra yet. It's not warm enough. The soil has to be warm consistently through the night for them to even sprout. So I'm not too concerned about that. It's a warm bed, but they're not going to sprout yet. So, and I know this too because I have okra seeds that have naturally fallen and I have not seen a single one sprout. They sprout when they're good and ready. So that is it for today. I hope everybody is set. And if you're not, again, go visit a greenhouse in your area. And happy planting, happy gardening, and much love and many blessings.